of New York out of business. If enough of these silver certificates were to come into circulation, they would have eliminated the demand for the Federal Reserve notes. This is because the silver certificates are backed by silver and the Federal Reserve notes are backed by nothing. Executive Order 1110 could have prevented the national debt from reaching its current levels, because it would have given the government the ability to repay its debt without going to the Federal Reserve and being charged interest in order to create new money. Executive Order 1110 gave the U.S. the ability to create its own money backed by silver. After Mr. Kennedy was assassinated just 5 months later, no more silver certificates were issued. The final call has learned that the executive order was never repealed by any U.S. president. Through an executive order, it is still valid. Why then has no president utilized it? Virtually all of the nearly $6 trillion in debt that has been created since 1963, and if the U.S. president had utilized Executive Order 1110, the debt would be nowhere near the $10 trillion that we have now. Perhaps the assassination of JFK was a warning to future presidents who would think to eliminate the U.S. debt by eliminating the Federal Reserve's control over creating money. Now, he did this in 1963, and he printed over $4 billion in 1/5s and 10s. And it looked just like the money we have now, except instead of having a green seal on the right-hand side on the front, it had a red seal. And at the top, instead of saying a Federal Reserve note, it said a United States note. And we have one in our possession to prove that it's real. We're filming it right now, so it will be on our website, and you can see that John F. Kennedy made an attempt to abolish this corrupt Federal Reserve banking system that has enslaved your children. I ask everyone to please investigate the Federal Reserve banking system, and if you can, join us today in Charlotte. Give us that address again, Brian. You remember that address?
It's 530 Trade Street in Charlotte.
We will be down there. This needs to be changed, and John F. Kennedy was attempting to change it. That and his attempt to expose the secret societies that have corrupted our government is the reason that he was assassinated. The government's version of the JFK assassination, that he was shot from behind. When you see the video, it's obvious he was shot from the front, and they passed this off on the American people and got by with it.
I mean, we have dozens of witnesses that saw gunfire from the grassy knoll. We have witnesses that turned up missing. They were found dead, one of them in the desert. We also have Kennedy going after the CIA, trying to break up the CIA. He actually fired Allen Dulles as the head of the CIA, which, ironically enough, would later be appointed to the Warren Commission.
Unbelievable. We had Oswald saying, "I'm just the patsy." Well, we had Ruby saying the world will never know the truth and dies in jail. So we're going to go to our phones, 704-873-1400. Our Davie County number is 336-499-0681. Our email is onair@therealnewsradio.com. And anytime we play videos like this on air, they're always posted on our website. So if we don't play them in their entirety, you can watch them on our website, therealnewsradio.com, and see them for yourself. Because, like I say, the one where the Secret Service stepped off the back of the car is just unbelievable, and you can check out for yourself Executive Order 1110 for yourself, because you certainly won't run across that just everywhere you look. But yeah, again, if you'd like to call in, comment on the Federal Reserve, if you'd like to comment on this anniversary of the assassination of JFK, we would like to hear from you. And there's something else that I wanted to mention, Brian. You might want to comment on this. It has came out this week who was behind telling the congressman that martial law was going to be initiated. Senator James Inhofe has revealed that Henry Paulson was behind the threats of martial law and a new Great Depression prior to the passage of the bailout bill, having made such warnings during a conference call on September 19th, around 2 weeks before the legislation was eventually approved by both the Senate and the Congress. On October 2nd, Democrat Congressman Brad Sherman gave a stunning speech on the House floor, during which he decried the fact that many of us were told in private conversations that if we voted against this bill on Monday, that the sky would fall, the market would drop 2,000 or 3,000 points the first day, another couple of thousand the second day, and a few members were even told that there would be martial law in America if we voted no. And we played that clip on the air when that happened. And it was just amazing, saying that on the House floor. Now it has come out that Henry Paulson, the Secretary of the Treasury, the one that is actually the recipient of the bailout money, was the one that told the congressman that there would be martial law if they did not pass the bailout. Unbelievable. We're going to go to the phones. We got a phone call. Hey, you're on the Real News.
Oh, yeah, man. I'm just wondering about, I'm making a comment on the Kennedy assassination.
Yes, sir.
I am just wondering how in the world did Lee Harvey Oswald, how was he able to get a shot at him out of that window? Who let him, how was he able to get up in that window and take a free shot at him? I want to know that question.
It is possible that Lee Harvey Oswald actually did shoot out of that window, but again, the angle he was at, the rifle he was using, the distance involved, of course he was shooting at a moving object at a great distance. It's practically impossible, even for the best snipers on planet Earth, to have attempted this shot.
Bolt action rifle.
Yeah.
Have you always had doubts of the government's version of the JFK assassination?
Oh, yeah, man. Oh, yeah. I mean, I just never ceased to amaze me, even the fact he was a shooter. How was he able to get up in that window in the first place? I mean, right now, you take Obama. You think anybody would ever in their right mind would be allowed to take a shot at Obama out of a window like that?
Well, there was just so many things that the Secret Service didn't do, like what you're saying, open windows everywhere.
Changing the parade route.
Yeah, into that sharp curve that normally they would never have. So, yeah, I appreciate you calling. Is there anything else you'd like to add today?
Yeah, I want to say this. After that, I want to say this. That was the cheapest, junkiest rifle that was made in Poland. I mean, if someone was going to take a crack at it, you'd think they'd use something like, I don't know, maybe a M1 Duran or a Remington or a Winchester or something that had some guts. I mean, you're talking about one of the worst made guns there is in the world. That's one thing I have to say about that.
Hey, thank you very much for calling. Call in anytime, and we've got another phone call.
Yeah.
Hey, you're on the Real News.
Hello.
Hey, how you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good, Bill Anderson.
Yes, sir.
I've got something to add to your Oswald theory that he was the shooter.
Yes, sir.
I was president of the local Lions Club a couple of years later. The convention was held in Dallas, Texas. I caught the bus one morning, and I told the bus driver I wanted to get off at Dealey Plaza. He said, oh, you want to see where Kennedy was shot? I said, yes, that's why I'm going down there today. He said, well, I've got something to tell you. He said, Oswald rode this very bus that I'm driving real often. I knew Oswald by sight. He said that the day that Kennedy was shot, Oswald was on this bus. We were coming up to a theater. He said, you see that theater on the left there? I said, yes. He said, Oswald was on this bus. He got off of this bus, went in front of the bus, and went up to the cashier's counter of that theater. And you remember, he was arrested in that theater. He said as soon as this bus got down to Dealey Plaza, that Kennedy had just been shot. And they stopped us so that we couldn't go on through until they got some things straightened out. He said, I know for a fact Oswald did not shoot Kennedy. He said he was on this bus whenever that happened down here in Dealey Plaza.
Hey, I want to thank you for...
I thought that might be interesting to you today because that wasn't a personal experience with me, with a bus driver that I'm confident knew what he was talking about. And, you know, Oswald said he didn't do it. He was a patsy.
That's right. Well, that was very interesting. I appreciate you sharing that with us today. We've got another phone call. Is there anything else you'd like to add today?
Well, that's about it.